Welcome, wrestling fans. You got Bill Schuyler here at One Wrestling NXT Review. First off, as always, shouts out to the one, the only, the icon, my wrestling guru, Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling. Follow him at the Apter Chat on YouTube. My El Jefe, Big Ray Hernandez. Follow him at Big Ray Show on Twitter. Andre_Corbeil, that's right, Andre Corbeil. Follow him and Big Ray at the CANAM Wrestling Show, which is now found its new permanent home here at One Wrestling. And of course, my tag team partner for One Wrestling Goes Old School, the Prince of the Podcast, Billy Ray Hustle. You could follow him at Billy Ray Valentine and the PW Hustle Podcast on iTunes and Podbean. We open up NXT this week with General Manager William Regal talking about how Kevin Owens considers himself a prize fighter, that he only fights for the big prize. Well, he says this is a new era, an era where the champion doesn't make the call. The challengers don't make the calls. Nobody makes decisions here in NXT except for him, the general manager, William Regal. And his first decision of this new era, that Kevin Owens will indeed fight for no prize tonight. That's right, it'll be a non-title match against the former longest reigning NXT champion, Adrian Neville, in our main event. We open up with a surprise. A guy I would never have expected to see back in the WWE, especially here in NXT. We're talking a former hardcore, former ECW, former singles champions, a guy that's held belts all over the world. We're talking about Rhyno. You know him. Gore. And this crowd went insane. You might have thought this guy had never left. They were behind him 150%. His opponent, or should I say victim, because that's what this was, a pure and simple mugging in the ring. Elias Sampson was decimated. Not a chance to breathe as Rhyno just tore through this kid and gored him and took him out, left him laying. Your winner, as if there was any doubt. Rhyno. I'm looking forward to possibilities here. Rhyno going up against Corbin, Baron Corbin, Bull Dempsey, guys that consider themselves kings of the squash match. I think they found somebody here that's going to quite possibly put them on their keisters and leave them laying, looking at the lights. We then have Finn Balor in an interview going on about things that had happened to Sami Zayn from Kevin Owens, that he's looking forward to his match with Owens, and Rhyno interrupts and cuts through, and you just get a dead man stare between him and Balor. No words exchanged, and apparently it seems no words were needed. Finn Balor and Rhyno appear to have some business that's going to be handled in the ring very, very soon. Next up, we get some tag team action. The Vaudevillians, not my favorite tag team, but again, they come out in their heel mode. Good jobbers, enhancement talent, if you will, going up against a team that's been missing for some time. People have been asking. I had no idea why they haven't been on the air, but they are back. That's right. Enzo, Amore, Big Cass, Carmella. You can't teach that. They were there doing it all. The shtick these guys do, the charisma just oozes off of them. They may not be the most proficient ring technicians, but entertaining, oh yes. And they took it to the Vaudevillians, back and forth, and there was no doubt in my mind, because the Vaudevillians were just too soft. Big boot, Big Cass taking them out. 1, 2, 3, your champions. Possibly one day. I can't see how gold won't be around their waist eventually. They're just that entertaining. Enzo, Big Cass, your winners of the match. And then, speaking of champions, Team Bam is on the Titantron, talking smack to Enzo and Big Cass, making fun of them, and then trying to lure Carmella to come join a couple of real men. Carmella took to looking as she was going to vomit there in the middle of the ring, and apparently we got a feud brewing between the tag team champions and Enzo and Big Cass. I would say that would probably be pretty entertaining, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't see Team Bam being a long reigning tag team champion, but you never know here in NXT. You get surprises all along. I mean, who would, if it, Rhyno coming in tonight? My God, Rhyno, dude, one of my favorites. The guy that pretty much invented the spear. Okay, the gore. I put him up against anybody even today. He's still taking care of business, but I digress. We then get a couple women promos. We got Bayley and Becky Lynch both talking about how they didn't get the job done last week, but they're looking forward to having their chance to win again. Becky Lynch is very happy that Charlotte Flair didn't win. I see a feud going between them, leaving Sasha Banks the ability to hold on to her women's belt for a while without losing it right back to Charlotte, who, in my opinion, is the best wrestler in the women's division, not just in NXT, but in the entire WWE universe. We then get CJ Parker, the king of the jobbers here at NXT, storming the ring, looking to be a bit peeved and coming off as a heel. Says that he wants everything shut off. He was taking control of the ring tonight. There was nothing going on until he got respect. He pulls crime tape out and he's taping off the ring. Commentators wondering what in the world's going on with this, and all of a sudden the monitors start going crazy, and out of the blue, bang, he's jumped from behind CJ Parker, being attacked by none other than finally Solomon Crowe. Former Sami Callisto makes his NXT debut by beating the stuffing out of CJ Parker in the middle of the ring, leaving him laying. Exits the ring right away and tells everyone that they can go back to their regularly scheduled programming. Very curious to find out where Solomon Crowe is going, what they're going to do with this character, who he's going to feud with. I was a huge fan of him on the Indies and CZW, Evolve, Dragon Gate USA, and the like. He is a fantastic wrestler that can do everything from scientific to the death match. I expect big things from Solomon Crowe here at NXT. We then get some continued updates on Zane from the commentators, talking about what a beating he took at the hands of Kevin Owens last week. They're really pushing over how much of a beast that Owens was and how much damage that he did to the former champion, Sami Zayn. We then get a Sasha Banks non-championship match going up against Old Blue Pants. I hate that they give this stupid moniker to her. This is a great woman wrestler. Leva Bates, part of the Lucha Sisters down in Shimmer with Maya Yim, and she's getting no respect here at NXT. This gimmick is just ridiculous with someone of her caliber. Regardless, you knew there wasn't a chance in blue hell that Old Blue Pants was going to win. Sasha Banks hits her with the finisher, and there's no doubt Sasha Banks continues her run as the new women's champion here at NXT. Then we get a report from Dr. Aman, official medical report for Sami Zayn. All the testing has been done, and despite all the pushing that they've done about how much damage was done and the possibility of concussions and how long was he going to be out due to the beating that he took. They really dropped the ball on this in creative, and the guy says that he's fine, there's no concussions, and he was cleared to wrestle, and he's wrestling off in the Middle East this week, Dubai, I think it is. And, you know, I miss a little bit of the kayfabe there, folks. I mean, you've been pushing this beating that this guy took at the hands of the champion, Kevin Owens, and you got the guy traveling internationally a few days after this supposed beatdown, and he's wrestling out there, and I guess he's going to be back here next week possibly. He should have been kept out for at least a month. Pushed it, really dug in deep to get this feud going, but you know, some fans out there today, they don't have the mindset to go through that. I was surprised with NXT not following this up the way that they've been doing things almost perfectly for so long. Something I really have to gripe about with this, and definite goof, in my opinion, by creative here in NXT. We then have our main event of the night. Former longest reigning NXT champion Adrian Neville going up against Kevin Fight Owens. Oh, this should have been one of the greatest matches of all time for NXT, and it just wasn't. I'm not going to lie, I can't shovel it to you and tell you. It started out almost exactly like the match last week with Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens, don't get me wrong, both men were fantastic in the ring. You'll see what I'm saying. It went into the typical ground and pound that Kevin Owens had done last week at Rival. It seemed to be that Adrian was not going to be able to recover, not going to be able to get up to do any high-flying moves, which was great in-ring psychology by Owens, keeping him down to the mat and doing what he does best, beating the living hell out of people. Turns out that he was able to get a little high-flying action going, unlike last week with Zayn. Neville gained back control, hitting with a beautiful airborne spike pile driver, which Owens managed to kick out of. We had a ton of near counts in this match. And then it was just a series of strong kicks, drop kicks. Just Adrian Neville was pouring it on Owens, and Owens was not able to get back in this match at all. He had rolled out of the ring. Adrian Neville struck with a moonsault perfectly to the ramp. Get him back in again a near count. They're in and out of the ring again. More just beat up and kicks and strikes by Adrian Neville upon Kevin Owens, and it looked to be that Neville was going to pull this out. He then hit a 450 splash off the apron, striking Owens, getting him back in the ring. Could not get the pin on him, and out of the attempted Red Dragon, up, down, Red Arrow, sorry, not Red Dragon, a Red Arrow strike. Owens moves out of the way, comes up and hits him with a power bomb, and the match was over. 1, 2, 3. The win was out of nowhere. Owens was selling this match throughout. Both guys were. It looked to be just one of those. It was going to be a good match. It was started out great. The comeback was great. But to end it like that was very disappointing to me, even though Owens did not just jump up and, parade around like nothing happened to him. He played it off that he took a severe beating, that he took Adrian Neville lightly. Definitely we're going to see a rematch between these guys. And that ends our match. Now there's a little news going out there. You might be wondering why I was wearing this Samoa Joe shirt here for NXT. That being that Samoa Joe has quit Impact Wrestling. and the wrestling world has been abuzz. Matter of fact, it was going on almost 3 days now of Twitter going around the world about where Samoa Joe was going. Was he going to retire? Was he going to go to New Japan? I believe, along with many others, that even while New Japan is a possibility and Joe could make a lot of money and there could be a lot of potential 5-star matches over there, I don't see Joe traveling to Japan. He's a family guy. And I think, like anybody else, Joe wants his shot at the big league. He wants the WWE. He wants that WrestleMania moment. He had a brief appearance in the WWE years ago as enhancement talent, just like AJ Styles and others who were, just there as jobbers. Some people seem to say that they were part of the WWE and the WWE dropped the ball. They weren't part of the WWE. They were local guys wrestling for Ring of Honor and the like back then. They got pulled in for Sunday Night Heat or whatever it might be. And they were just there to put over the bigger stars on the show. They were never being signed. They never were signed. Different day and age back then and now. Now these guys are being looked at. This is Triple H, and Triple H is a huge Samoa Joe mark. There's a lot of guys that have been in the WWE, going back to Jim Ross even, that have wanted Samoa Joe in this federation, in the WWF, in the WWE. And now, with NXT, that opportunity is here. And I really foresee Samoa Joe signing sometime in the next 6 months to NXT and going over big. I mean, we're talking matches that are going to be out of this world. You're going to have Samoa Joe. Obviously, they're going to change his name. I see it simply him going by his real name, Joe Sanoa, the Samoan submission machine. And, him going up against Baylor, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Adrian Neville. I mean, anybody on that NXT roster is just going to be phenomenal matches. And to the main roster, to have him and Daniel Bryan get back into a feud again like they had years ago. I could see Joe going up even against the likes of Cena and Lesnar, Dolph Ziggler. I mean, they could even hook up a Samoan heel team with the Usos, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, like a Samoan SWAT team type of deal, bring in Rikishi as the manager and have a wild Samoan gang unit just take it. I'm just coming up with ideas off the tip of my head here, but I mean, Samoa Joe is going to be a huge superstar no matter where he goes, and I expect him to be that superstar in the WWE. But it's going to be NXT first, and you're hearing it from me here. I am the show, Bill Schuyler. Join us every week as we do the best and bring you the best in professional wrestling here at One Wrestling. And with that, as always, I'll see you down the road, and we'll see you at the matches.